Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Stamrio. Welcome to Guild Wars 2 Commentary. I'm currently recording this, re-recording this actually. I was gonna try a different model of recording and over editing things, but I decided nah, it's just best I just, sit down and record and just talk to you guys straight up. So I've been kind of laying off from talking about this for a while because it's such a controversial issue and I didn't feel like, getting my hands dirty with it. But it's about the Heart of Thorns expansion. And the main question here is whether it's worth it. And not just the expansion itself, but whether the price is worth it, whether the bundle for the pre-order is worth it, whether the contents being offered is worth it, and among just whether the entire issue really is worth it. And as much as I understand, it's probably not even worth even talking about it as somebody who has been pretty active within the Guild Wars 2 community and has been active with, with the game, and, has been dedicated with the Guild Wars 2 game for over a year now, pretty much. I would like to kind of chime in on this and, talk about it, because I feel like I could maybe offer an opinion, a pretty decent opinion that, would be pretty reasonable. I don't like to, take sides when it comes to certain issues, or at least I try not to take sides when it comes to, these kind of, controversial issues, because I understand a lot of people, they're gonna feel strongly about something, and they would just blindly kind of not even try to look at the other person's point of view. I like to, or try to keep myself to look at both points of views when it comes to any issue whatsoever, whether it be, something, like a digital purchase of Guild Wars 2, or whether it be like an actual argument with a friend or a buddy of mine or something like that. I try to look at things objectively and try to look at the big picture and identify the main issue at hand. And from what I'm seeing here is there's a pretty big divide down the middle of people who are for the expansion and people who are against the expansion, or something the expansion is offered, they're against it. Now, the issue here is not about what the expansion offers. I'm pretty sure the issue is not that, although it could be part of it. I mean, we are getting the mastery system, which I don't fully 100% understand what it means. As far as I understand, it just really means gliding. I've not seen much of the information about the mastery system, and I have done my research. I'm not just the kind of person that just, says, oh, I don't see it and just never do my research. With Maguma Jungle, it looks like we're going to be getting like a whole new zone, but it's going to have 3 levels. So I guess you can say we're getting 3 maps of the, like pretty much put one under another in the expansion, as far as I've seen. The specializations, I believe they already added with, the current town system and the current major patch, when they also added the new Lions arc, redone capital city. They're also adding a new profession, Revenant, which does look pretty cool and does have pretty neat mechanics. And obviously, Arena is going to have to, properly balance it in order to make sure it works, properly. Because with, I mean, I've experienced, Mr. Pandaria. I've experienced, what I experienced? I experienced Heaven's Ward in Final Fantasy. And whenever you add a new class, a new profession, a new job, there's always an issue of balancing it out perfectly. And what Revenant or Anet has to do is just, be careful about how they, go about balancing it and whatever. Listen to players' feedback, and then they could get the class perfectly fine. And even after that, they'll still might make some tweaks, but that's expected. They're adding guild halls in the expansion, which does look really cool, and I feel like it's a very guild engaging kind of thing to do. But I'm not sure about, people like me who are more casual. I'm not 100% sure. I'll admit, I'm a casual player. I'm on more casual side than most players are, really, in any game really out there. It doesn't even have to be, Guild Wars 2. I'm casual for most of, games that I play, because that's just the way I like to play games. I'm a video game butterfly. I like to flutter around from game to game. I play different games on YouTube, and it's just what I do. I'm a video game butterfly, if you like to call me that. And it's just what it is. I'm more of a casual player. I don't like to be hardcore in something unless I really like it. If I really like it, I might just become hardcore with it. Like with World of Warcraft, for the longest time in Cataclysm, like towards the end of Cataclysm, I got really hardcore with the raiding. In Mr. Pandaria, I decided, I'm gonna be a little casual about it, not worry about it too much. And casual fits a little bit more to me. But nevertheless, let's continue on. In competitive modes, they're adding more competitive modes for PvP for Guild Wars 2, which does look really cool, and all these features look really fun and exciting and awesome. But the main issue here is not really about whether the expansion is worth it. I mean, obviously, if you think about it, like Guild Wars 2 doesn't make you pay a sub fee, and it's like, hey, release an expansion, $50. Warlord's Draenor costs $50, and I bought that because that looked actually pretty good, and now I drop World of Warcraft. When it comes to, you know, Heart of Thorns, the expansion, I mean, when you asked, like, hey, you can buy an expansion for this game, and, you know, it costs $50, but you never had to pay a sub fee, as an idea, that sounds, you know, it sounds, yeah, awesome, exciting, that sounds great. It's like, that sounds like a steal. This game never makes me pay monthly fees, and they like saying, hey, here's an expansion, it's $50, a little bit, you know, usually expansions in the past have been, you know, out for other games being like around $40, but hey, $50 expansion right over here, we're not making you pay any sub fees. That sounds like a steal, right? A lot of people will be, you know, they'll just take it, and they'll look the other way. They would not even look back on it. They'll be like, okay, go for it, I'm totally down for it. That sounds like a great deal, right? Yeah, sounds like a pretty good deal. But the issue, there's always the but. There's always going to be the but. There's always going to be the but. As somebody that has been burned out by pre-orders, Warlords of Draenor, I'm not gonna pre-order the expansion. I will get the expansion down the line, as well as I'm just gonna wait until maybe they make a deal for somebody who has several accounts, because I have 2 Guild Wars 2 accounts. Buying the expansion Heart of Thorns for me will be $100. That's a lot of money. I don't really have just $100 just to pull out of my pocket and be like, hey, go Anet, $100 right here. Because, you know, I don't just focus on Guild Wars 2, I focus on other games as well, and I also have a MMO that I really like that currently has a sub fee, and I don't mind paying the sub fee. Really, I don't mind, like, when it comes to me personally, I don't mind paying a sub fee for MMOs that are worth it. Like, it's not, the sub fee to me is not a big deal, because if the MMO is worth it, then, you know, you'll play it. That's why I dropped World of Warcraft, and I'm sticking to Final Fantasy when it comes to, you know, a sub fee. When ESO was around, and when I started playing ESO, I paid the sub fee still, because it just, you know, it was a worthwhile MMO, and I really liked it. I really liked playing it. It was a real fun MMO, even with a sub fee. Now, it doesn't have a sub fee, but still. Nevertheless, it's not about MMOs and sub fees. As an MMO that doesn't make you pay any monthly fee, $50 sounds like a steal, right? And, I mean, yeah, you're getting, like, a lot of good content, so it's like, yeah, it's like, no problem paying, you know, sub fee. Especially if it's, like, the only game you play, then it sounds like a perfect deal for you. Or for the hardcore, I guess the hardcore players. For somebody that's casual, I might have waited a little bit until like the day of the release of the expansion, and then like save money on the side to pay for the expansion, at least for one of the accounts, if not 2. At least 1. But for now, I'm just not going to pre-order, simply because I don't want to get in a whole pre-order mess. And the pre-order mess has been real. And I'm not even kidding you. If you look at Guild Wars 2 forums on like Heart of Thorns and stuff like that, and well, Reddit and other social media websites and YouTube, a lot of people are like divided between like, oh, I'm for it, and if you're not for it, you're just, you know, some entitled pig, or if you're against it, you just, it's like, literally the internet has been like this. Like down the line, the people that are for the expansion is saying, hey, I'm for the expansion, and if you're not, you just, you know, some entitled POS. And the people that are against the expansion or paying the money for the expansion are saying, hey, I'm not for the expansion, and if you are for the expansion, you're just drinking too much of ArenaNet Kool-Aid. Which, I understand the divide, but I don't really get the animosity. Now, bear in mind, I'm not a person that's for or against expansion. I think expansion is cool, and I think it will, you know, provide a lot of fun things to do in the game. As somebody who's a casual player, I feel like the expansion would allow me to, you know, explore more things and explore the story further for, you know, my character Colette the Wise in Guild Wars 2. It would let me continue the Let's Play without worrying about, you know, getting to max level, finishing the story, and having nothing else to do. It'd be real fun, it would be really cool. It's just the issue, I believe one of the main issues that the veteran players have is that the people that paid for the base game already, if they feel like they have to pay for the game again, you know, which it's like, if I would have to relate it, it's like, actually I really don't know what it can be related to, because I'm thinking about your different scenarios in my head, but all of them sound a little bit too ridiculous. I might as well go ahead and voice one. It's like, I was thinking to myself, it's like buying a car, and then you buy upgrades for the car, and you have to pay for the car again. Kind of, a little bit what it feels like. You're not really paying for the upgrades, it's like you're repurchasing the car again. But, as ridiculous as that sounds, because a car and a video game are 2 different things, for a lot of players that have already already bought the the base game version of Guild Wars 2, they feel like they're being a little bit cheaped out. And hear me out on this. You may be one of those people, you may not be one of those people, maybe complete opposite side, but hear me out. The new players, for the new players, this deal sounds fantastic. This deal sounds awesome. It's like you pay $50 or you pay $74 or $99, you get the expansion and you get the base game for free. Just like that. It comes in a bundle. It's like, that sounds awesome, that sounds great. For the players that have already, bought the base game, like myself, I bought it twice. It sounds like, what's going on here? It kind of gives this kind of reaction of, hey, what's going on here? Why am I repurchasing the game? Because when you buy the bundle, you get the base game with a bundle. A lot of players have the concern of, hey, I already have the bundle. Can I not purchase for the bundle, or can you take out the the money that will go for the bundle and just let me buy the expansion pack on its own? And even if you have the original game and you have the base game, when you buy the bundle, that base game that comes with a bundle will just get cancelled out if you already have the game installed. So it kind of makes me feel like, what is the base game worth now at this point with the release of expansion? Because from what I'm understanding, it's worth nothing at this point. And it's a little confusing to me personally. Now, from what I've understood about how ArenaNet wants to take this kind of approach is that, let's say they release the next expansion after Heart of Thorns a year later. What they will do is that expansion will cost $50 and will include Heart of Thorns and Guild Wars 2 base game together with a bundle for $50. That makes me kind of think oddly about, like, what is the depreciation value of the expansion in the base game at this point then? Wouldn't it be just easier to just, wait several years, not get this expansion, not worry about, the, Guild Wars 2, or maybe play Guild Wars 2 without the expansion, wait until the next expansion comes out, and then buy that, which will include the next expansion, Heart of Thorns, and then the base game? Wouldn't that be a little bit better of a bundle, And I don't know what I feel about it. I feel like, I don't know, it feels like it's a little bit more fair and a little bit more reasonable when it comes to, having the game companies release a base game and then release expansions separately on their own and then bundle it together for a certain bundle. So let's say Guild Wars Heart of Thorns was released as a separate expansion for $35. New players will buy, the base game and the Heart of Thorns bundle together for a slightly bigger price, but it will include everything together. Maybe they'll have some kind of a deal for it where the Heart of Thorns will be like $10 off, so it would be $25, and they'll bundle together and get it for cheaper, so that players, that are new to the game will be coming in and be like, yeah, look at that, I got the base game and I got the expansion. But bundling together as one single entity, I don't know how that would work. A lot of people are confused, and some of the people are actually very upset because they feel like they're repurchasing the game. And as somebody who already has 2 copies of Guild Wars 2, repurchasing the game twice, I'm not exactly made of money. I'm not exactly made of money. I'm a college student, and I don't really have money to throw around. I'm not hardcore about the game either, so I might just have to wait a little bit, until I have some money on the side to get the game. It kind of makes me feel, a little bit confused about the whole issue. It's like, I understand that yes, the game is not making me pay the sub fee, and that sounds awesome, and that paying $50 for expansion that doesn't make you paying the sub fees, that sounds like a great deal. I perfectly understand that idea rings me completely. But I'm not a hardcore player that only plays Guild Wars 2. Like, this deal would sound great for somebody who is hardcore about the game, who plays this game and really only mains this game. I don't main this game. I don't really main any games really. If anything, I'd main more Skyrim and Final Fantasy, but I mean, at the same time, I play pretty much every single game because I play a lot of games for my YouTube channel, and I don't exactly say I main a specific game. There are going to be times when, I'll get on, play Guild Wars 2 for several hours, then I'll get off, I'll play another game for several hours, I'll get off, and then, that's outside of recording. And even outside of recording, I don't really play the games too much, because I just don't have the time for it. So I, pack my gaming time, my playing time into the recording time as best I can. Really, that's all I really can do at this point. When it comes to this, it kind of makes me feel like I'll be repurchasing Guild Wars 2 all over again, and then get an expansion pack with it. it kind of makes me feel like the base value of like the actual standard game is very depreciated, you know? And as somebody who's, you know, monetary skeptic or financial skeptic, I kind of want to look for deals, you know, for deals that are going to be worth for my wallet rather than, you know, anything else. Yes, I understand it's probably going to be, you know, some of you might say, oh, it's a very shallow way to look at it, you know, through financial, like, through financial, I guess, view. But I'm a student. I don't have money to just toss around. I don't have just $50 I can just pull out of my pocket and be like, here you go, Anet, I'll gladly take the expansion now. Or pull out $100, be like, I'll pre-order the Ultimate Edition. I don't have that. When I get, even if I did have that money, I probably would still be very skeptical about, you know, getting bang for my buck. And getting bang for my buck is something I learned from my stepdad after, you know, arriving to the United States. He's one of the old school guys. He's one of the old school, you know, one of the old school dads. He knows, like, what bang for your buck means. And he clearly taught me the value of a dollar and value of something, you know? When it comes to, you know, whether it be games, whether it be, you know, something that you actually, material things that you get, whether, you know, between different qualities of one thing or the other, car parts as well, different cars, getting more bang for your buck in anything, really. That's what he engraved in me, and that's something that kind of stuck with me. So when it comes to buying something, whether it be something, you know, physical or digital, I want to make sure that, you know, the money that I'm paying for would actually be worth it. You know, it actually be great, worth for the actual thing. And I feel like a lot of veterans that, you know, or veterans, somebody who bought the base game, as somebody who bought the base game already, would be kind of cheaped out by, you know, buying the standard edition, while the new players out there that are just getting into Guild Wars 2, they would just have to pay $50 and they would just get the base game with expansion for free. You know? And if you think about it, I paid $60 when I first got the game. I got the other game for the $10, the ridiculous $10 sale they had. It was ridiculous, like $75 off or something. Ridiculous $10 sale. So I paid about $70 for the two games, and then I would have to pay if I wanted to get the expansion pack for both of those like game clients. I would spend $100 as well. So that's $170 that I would have invested already into Guild Wars 2. While somebody who is new, somebody who's just joining the game, would only spend $50. I feel like I've been a little gypped. Just, well, not even a little bit. That'd be a huge gap in how much money I had to spend compared to a new player had to spend. Which I think with expansion packs, like paying for just expansion packs makes it a little bit more fair for, you know, new players. Because everybody feels like they're paying the same amount of money, really, you know? And as somebody who is financially skeptical about anything at all, it kind of makes me question, like, is this deal really worth monetary-wise, you know, financially-wise? Is this really a financially sound idea to do? This is a financially sound action to take. You know? That's my biggest issue with the whole thing. And that's just my opinion on it. Now, some people, you know, have in social media, and some people that made, you know, other videos, everybody else have said that, you know, it's the idea of pre-order, whether it's, you know, monetary concern, like whether the expansions were worth it. The expansion sounds great. Granted, the game doesn't make you pay the monthly fee whatsoever. If they made it so the expansion alone without, you know, the base game was $50, I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, no problem. I'll just save up money on the side and just have $50 ready for at least one of the accounts. But the fact that new players will be, you know, getting, you know, a base game for free, which when I bought it was a $6 value, it kind of makes me feel like I'm a little gypped out. For new players that are coming into this game, this sounds like a fantastic deal. And if you're a new player for Guild Wars 2, do it. This is great. This is going to save you a ton of money. Do it. Do it. But, you know, as somebody who's already paid for base game twice, even though, you know, the other one was like $10, it kind of feels like I would have to just repurchase the game again, which I don't even know what I feel like about it. Nevertheless, I'm just gonna not pre-purchase the game, but I will buy it when it's released. So I'm not gonna join the pre-purchase hype. Pre-purchase hype is the worst thing you can do for, you know, any game out there. And I have been burnt out by pre-purchases, like Warlords of Draenor. That expansion was just not worth it. I probably shouldn't have invested really a lot of money into it whatsoever, or any money into it whatsoever. But yeah, I've been burnt out with pre-purchases before, and several YouTubers out there, several smart YouTubers like Total Biscuit, and I think Hughesburg's Babyface as well. They've made it, they made a stand to say, hey, don't pre-purchase. Wait until the games comes out. Wait for the reviews. But don't pre-purchase. If you pre-purchase, you give into the hype, and you just give money to the developers already. Just right then and there say, hey, here's money, just funnel whatever content you can in us. And I'm not really for it at this point. I am looking forward to the expansion. I'm very much looking forward to the expansion and everything that it offers. I'm hoping to see more video content and more, I guess, explanation on what everything is going to be like the master system. I want to see a little bit more about that. I want to see what you can do with guild houses, like the expanded view of guild houses, because, I mean, if it's going to be like garrisons of World of Warcraft, then that's not really worth it. I hope it's not going to be that, but I hope it's going to be something, a little bit more intuitive and a little bit more expansive, a little bit more, out there, out of the box kind of thing that's going to just wow people. I want to be wowed. I want to be wowed. But for now, from what I've seen, I just seen little videos here and there. I haven't seen extensive looks on things. So I'd like to see that before I make any kind of, before I even consider pre-purchasing. You can tell when something is worth it. You just want to be like, yes, pre-purchase. But just blindly just going in pre-purchase simply because it has, a certain brand, certain logo. I'm trying to stay away from that. Now I'm going to stop the video right here. I'm going to injunct in my own video right here to talk about something that Guild Wars 2 have addressed when it came to concerns about the expansion. If you have already purchased or pre-purchased or really just hold on, let me just read over here. Yeah, if you have purchased a core gameplay for Guild Wars 2 from their website between the January 23rd and June 16th, if you'd like to go refund that and actually pre-order the expansion pack with a free with a free standalone version of the game, you can go ahead and do so. Just gotta make sure that your game was between January 23rd of 2015 and June 16th of 2015. That's the only time window that it had to be bought between. And if you'd like to go ahead and refund it, go for it, and then you can just repurchase the the Heart of Thorns version that will come along, it will come with the game standalone. So that'd be probably a little bit better for your deal. If you have purchased the game between that time window, go ahead and do so. I'll leave a link in the description below for you to go to do that. It's got to be done with customer support team. And do the request for that. And if you want to go ahead and do that, go ahead and do it now. That apparently the request got to be provided by July 31st. So after July 31st, they will not refund any any versions of Guild Wars 2 standalone. So that way you actually be able to get a little bit better of a deal rather than buying the standalone right now, which I believe a lot of people have bought after watching my top 7 reasons to play Guild Wars 2. So this might be actually really good for you if you have purchased the game between that window. So go in the link below. I'll leave everything down there so you can have a little better experience. For the players that are veteran players, somebody who bought the standalone like me and would be buying the expansion or pre-ordering expansion or whatever, they're giving people an extra character slot. Now I'm gonna scroll this window down, it's just so bright, just so much white. For somebody who is hardcore about the game, the expansion, the extra character slot does sound pretty good. But for somebody who's not as hardcore as me, I don't know if that would be really worth the value, because I mean, I really just have 3 characters that I really focus on. I have 2 other slots filled up, but I really don't care about those characters whatsoever. I could just easily delete them and just not even worry about them, which kind of, I don't know, to me that doesn't seem, for me personally, extra character slot doesn't matter. I don't care for the character slot. Now if there could be a deal where you buy the what is it called, if you buy, let's say you buy the expansion, your Heart of Thorns expansion, right? And then the standalone game you get for free, no matter if you have the standalone game or not, so you can maybe give to a friend or something, or give to a relative, or whatever. Then, that'd be pretty good of a deal. But the thing is, even if you have the standalone, you buy the expansion, the standalone value just kind of, disappears. The free standalone that comes with it, it kind of disappears. It still kind of makes me feel like the value of the standalone just goes down to zilch or nothing, And that's, I don't know, makes me feel like I'm just rebuying the game all over again. It's like, I think I've said early in the video at a certain point, I don't know, it's like buying a car, right? buying a car, and rather than, you know, adding upgrades to it and DLCs for it, you just rebuy the car to get, you know, to get the upgrades for everything in the car. Now, a car is substantially different from a video game, but you get my gist. You know, a car is a type of, you know, base game. You get the base car, and you want to upgrade with DLCs, so you just repurchase the car. I feel like that'd be just a little bit weird, you know. Nevertheless, I'm gonna probably end the commentary right here. I will not be pre-ordering Heart of Thorns, but I would like to see videos and see information of what we actually gonna be getting content-wise in Heart of Thorns before I pre-order or before I just purchase at the store. I want to make sure that, you know, the expansion is actually gonna be worth it and gonna be more bang for your buck. Granted, you know, it just, as far as I believe, it all opens up a new area with 3 levels on it. Doesn't raise the level cap. Doesn't introduce any, you know, any new tiers of weapons. Doesn't really introduce a lot of new abilities. It redid the abilities and everything. It introduced a new class, which I'm not 100% sure if. I mean, the class does sound really cool, but I mean, they could have just introduced the new class as a separate DLC of its own for like $25. I would, like, if I could just get a new class for $25, like, I'll gladly pay for that. Sounds like a pretty good deal. But yeah, I want to wait and see, like, what kind of, you know, things they're gonna show off at, you know, what Arena is gonna produce, like, content-wise, video-wise, and news-wise for the game. Because I pre-ordered World of Draenor before in World of Warcraft, and that gave me buyer's remorse because I didn't really look into what we're going to be getting. I mean, I knew we were going to get garrisons, but as, you know, as the expansion kept on and on and on, I completely missed out the part that they were going to remove a lot of features, and even at the release of the expansion, they had the character models unfinished completely. Just, they didn't even, you know, do anything about it. They just wait until, you know, a couple months later to, you know, introduce the character models. They left the game very unfinished, and a lot of features were taken out and everything. So I'm gonna just wait and see what the expansion is gonna fully 100% offer. Once I have it down on, you know, on black and white, have it down on paper, I'll make a decision of like, okay, I'm gonna pre-order it, or I'm gonna wait until later bit and wait until like somebody tells me, like in a review, if it's really, you know, bang for your buck. Because I mean, $50 is a substantial amount for an expansion. You know, granted, I paid $60 for the base game and got a ton of content. Would the content that I would get in Heart of Thorns, once I paid $50, would it amount to more and or equal to what I got from base game? You know, that's what kind of what concern comes from. Anyway, I want you to leave me your feedback in comments below. And if you're one of those people that have already purchased the game between June 31st and July 16th, yeah, 16th, then please, or June 16th, I think. June 16th? I think so. Let me just check just in case. I want to make sure I get it right. June 16th, yeah. If you're one of those people that purchased between January 23rd or June 16th, then please, for love of God, make sure to submit your request to get a refund so you can actually purchase the expansion pack and base game together. That'll be a lot better deal for you, and you'll probably be a lot happier. So go ahead, and I'll leave a link in the description below, so go ahead and check this out. Anyway, my name is Stamria. Leave me your feedback in comments below. I would really like to see what you guys think about it, whether, you know, you're for the expansion or you're a little concerned about the expansion, and just let me know your feedback. Don't trash talk. The only thing I'm saying is don't fanboy, don't trash talk, don't pick sides. Just tell me what you personally think. Don't follow the, you know, the hype train, or don't follow the anti-abolition train, or whatever you want. The boycott train. That's what I'm trying to think of. Don't follow the train. Just give me your personal, honest opinion of what you personally think as a person. That's all I would like to hear. And make sure to respond to you as soon as possible in comments below. Anyway, thanks so much for watching the video. My name is Stamriel. Like, subscribe, and as always, have a great day. See ya.